we had a relationship advice question, and I feel like it's always Mike and me giving the relationship advice.
Yeah.
It's always
Sure.
like
Let her take
men,
it. She's got it.
even though I feel like we're both very much in what's the word I want to say? I feel like we're not too bro-y. I feel like we do give very two-sided relationships, but having an actual woman here would be good.
Actual woman.
I am an actual
Yes.
woman, so
Confirmed.
sure.
Confirm. All right, here we go. Brian Colangelo, relationship advice.
I keep my heart under my pillow with my teeth and other lies. I've been waiting on your halo just to shine the light.
The theme song obviously comes from our very own Eliza Hardy-Jones. Here we go. Hey, Spike and Mike and Alyssa. You guys and girls are the best. And I feel like you are always there for me, even though we have never met before. I guess it's just our hate for the Sixers that makes us feel like longtime friends. Anyways, my girlfriend and I, who dated for 4.5 years, just recently broke up over petty arguments which never amounted to anything before. It first started when I told her that maybe if she was more careful, she would have never gotten COVID.
Oh, no.
Right. She went out to frat parties and lives in a sorority house, so you can guess how she got it.
Yeah.
She was then pissed because I told her if she wore a mask, she would have never been in that situation. I feel like the writer here is like sort of trying to get on Mike's good side in this whole situation, but it then escalated to her telling me that I was not giving her enough attention and I didn't show enough PDA like she wants, which resulted in her thinking I was not attracted to her. I said that was false, which it is, but she didn't believe me. I also never really showed much PDA in the first place, so I don't know why it was such a problem now. If this was a problem, then why wasn't it a problem last year? So after the COVID situation, her saying I didn't give her enough attention, her thinking I'm not attracted to her, but I am. I said I felt like there was a change in her. She said she felt like we should just break up. So I said I accepted her decision and I left her house. Curious to see what you guys think, guys and girls, think where it went wrong. Thanks. And I appreciate it if this could be anonymous, like Eric Jr. in his Twitter prime. Thanks from a semi-long-time listener. Started listening during the Raptor series, which seems like an eternity ago. Well, Alyssa, I'll give you the floor first.
I mean, it's, I would say that is very strongly his perspective, right? So I'm
Obviously.
going off of what the information he gave
Sure.
us. It kind of seems like she just didn't feel like it was working and was looking for a reason to to get out of that relationship, unfortunately. The PDA stuff is interesting. I feel like for some reason that's way more of an issue. It sounds like they're in college. So, being shown that you're in a committed relationship in a time when everyone's hooking up with each other, I think some people can be very sensitive about that. But if you can't work through something like that and get on the same page, communicating, there's a lot more challenging things coming your way. And as life goes on, I think, in a relationship, that it probably wouldn't have worked out. So it just seems like a bad match. Also, if you're going to parties during COVID, I mean, come on. Find someone who's not doing that. It's like way less stressful.
That to me seems like it's obviously his perspective, but it does seem like if it's a very odd situation we're all in, and if you can't get on the same page with your partner or roommate or whatever it is about like how seriously you're taking this, then like that's like irreparable, because some people don't want to get this thing, and then the blame that would happen if you got it and then gave it to somebody else or whatever it is, like that's hard to reconcile.
Well, and at the very least, like, look, if you want to be like, it is. He didn't seem like he was mad that she got it and brought it home, whatever. If you want to go to fucking frat parties and go to parties and not wear a mask and all that shit, and you get COVID, the very least you could do is go, well, I probably got COVID because I went to the parties. like that's at the very least, if you're going to, but I will say, there's never, ever, ever, I want to give this as a piece of advice. There's never, ever, 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 ever a situation in which when you go I told you that would happen after something bad happens, does it result in a positive? It just doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Just know it in your heart and fucking do your best to help her. She's sick. Fucking help her out. But when you go, I told you were going to get it. Like, it doesn't work.
I will say I'm the worst at that in our relationship. I am the I told you so. I am so quick to pull that shit out, and Mike's like, I don't understand why we're doing
Right.
this.
It doesn't help. It just doesn't.
No.
Everyone knows.
But I think during a pandemic, for such an obvious thing, it's hard if you're not getting the like, my bad. You know what? You were right. I shouldn't have done this. If you're not getting that, then it's like, yeah, you fucking did. You're going to frat parties without masks on? What are we talking about? Of course you got it from that.
To me, it just really sounds like she didn't want to be in the relationship.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing going to maskless frat parties
Without
during
him.
COVID? Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm sorry, that sucks. It sucks to hear that, but there's people who won't do that. And, 4.5 years is a long time, but you also sound like you have a lot of time for dating ahead of you. So it's going to be okay.
Right.
Just look at that. Spinning it to be an advice column.
Well, she's right. It doesn't, truthfully, it doesn't matter when it went wrong. You're never going to know. All you need to know is that it did go wrong. And to Alyssa's point, I agree. It probably wasn't any one of those things. It was probably like she was going to parties. Like, honestly, don't keep yourself up at night about what the fuck was going on at those parties. But just fucking move on. I think is the best part.